this computer. Yay. I did it. I get so excited, Austin, when I do technology right. It's so awesome. So tell me a little bit more about that. So you're in grad school right now.
Yes, ma'am.
And what are you studying?
Instructional technologies.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's part of the educational department at Tech, and basically just learning how to design like presentations and
Mm-hmm.
learning and studying how students learn best when technology is around them or when they're using them. So,
Oh my gosh, how like crazy is it that this is what's happening right now in education and that's what you were going to grad school for?
mm-hmm.
That is
So,
wild. That is wild. So were you living in Blacksburg?
mm-hmm.
And now
And
you're
I'm in Mechanicsville right now. I'm kind of flip flopping, kind of like every 2 weeks back and forth.
yeah. What was that? What was that like? So, well, first of all, I'll start over with this since it's being recorded. We want to use this for other things. What I'm going to ask you to do is just introduce yourself and kind of go back to, your undergrad to grad school now and just do like a little introduction so then we can start the video from like this point on so that who we go to show this to knows exactly who we are and who you are. So go ahead and introduce yourself, Austin.
Well, I'm Austin Cannon. I'm a redshirt senior at Virginia Tech. I studied history as an undergrad and graduated this past December, and I'm now currently in instructional technologies program for grad school.
That is awesome. And tell me a little bit about, you went to high school in Mechanicsville.
Yes, I did. Yep, I went to high school at Atlee in Mechanicsville, Virginia.
And you were quite the superstar there too, right?
I guess you could say that. Got recruited for football, was pretty good at that, and I also did track and field through shot put and discus. I had a few records and a few state championships under my belt. So
I think you are awfully humble, Austin.
thank
You
you.
are a very, very talented athlete, and you are a very humble, wonderful person. You
Thank you.
also know through CKG and Speak Up and all of that how important mental health is. And now we're faced in this, really kind of nobody's ever been in these times before. This is history in the making, and it seemed to me, I don't know if it seemed to you, that it all happened so fast. Like we heard of this thing like called Corona out there, and it was kind of one of these things that I don't know about you, but some of my kids were just like, oh, the Corona, not really taking it seriously back in like beginning of February, not really knowing what was going on. And then all of a sudden it was just like, whoa, in our face. Do you feel like that was your same experience?
I think so. I knew it was pretty serious, like around the world, and I was, naive, and I was like, I don't think it would be that bad in the United States, and I don't think it would spread that quickly. And next thing you know it, states were shutting down, schools were shutting down, and then it eventually came to Virginia, um, and when it got to Virginia, I think that's when reality set in, and with all these cancellations and not be able to go to school in Blacksburg and have like just that normal schedule, it kind of threw everything off.
It does throw everything off. And it's like, it's one thing to have like a kind of disruption in your lifestyle or in your routine, but to have this kind of like thing out there that is all unknown, besides just the virus itself that's scary and the stories and the news and, looking at the healthcare workers and then the patients that are dying and all of that's just really a lot to take in. But there's so much unknown, and I think that creates, I know for me, a lot of anxiety. Do you or your friends feel like that unknown and not knowing, how long are we doing online classes and all of that, has that created a sense of like unrest or anything in you or your friends?
Yeah, for me especially, I'm a little worried and anxious, especially with football being this my last year of eligibility and how that's in limbo, and um, it really stressed me out, and it still
Mhm.
does. Until I hear that we are officially having a season, I'm still going to be anxious and nervous. Um, you know, I have been a little depressed, lately here and there. Um, because I miss my friends at
Mhm.
school. I've barely seen my friends here in Mechanicsville. I miss my teammates. I miss all those guys, um, and just basically, quarantining and self isolating and stuff like that. It gets pretty lonely and boring after a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah, it does. It gets lonely. And it also, even if you have family in your house that you're all together when you're here in Mechanicsville, you know, you you still feel lonely because you love your family, you love the people you're with, but it's lonely because you have a whole nother life somewhere else,
Hmm.
and there's that whole thing of feeling connected, and especially in sports, like one, the physical activity is such a stress reliever, and
Hmm.
it can do so much for your overall mental health, but just to be around your teammates, that feeling of like we're all, everybody keeps saying the slogan, we're all in this together, and
Hmm.
that's great and a great feeling, but I think it's really felt when you're in on a team like a football
Hmm.
team, and you truly are like, okay, we're in the fourth quarter, we got to go, like pull
Hmm.
together, and it's hard to try to dig through these uncertain times without it. So I'm just curious, like, what are some things that, it's hard to find those things when you're in a low place, but what are some things you try to do, like, every day that gives you, it doesn't make it better, but you just count on doing every day to take care of yourself?
Well, I just really, I mean, I work out every day. That really helps a lot, with the stress. Luckily, I have a few weights here at the house and
I'm sure you
back at
do.
back at school. Um, with that, I usually take walks, and just really, you know, go outside into like a place where I'm by myself and just meditate,
Hmm.
and really, just think about things. And then um, I'll usually try, just talk to, my girlfriend or my buddies on the phone.
Hmm.
Um, and that seems to help a lot too. But really the big thing is working out. And like
Yeah.
you said, that's a huge stress reliever.
Yeah.
Um, and just really just trying to, you know, be busy
Yeah.
throughout the day as much as I can. If it's working out or playing video games or something for
Yeah.
a little bit,
Something. Yeah.
or reading a book or doing schoolwork. Just I'm just trying to find anything and everything to keep me busy, to try to not really think about the anxiety,
Hmm.
me being down and stuff like that.
It's kind of like one of those things now more than ever. Focusing on today is the best thing we can do. And it sounds like so, out there or so simple, but it's probably the hardest thing right now for all of us to do is to just focus on right here and right now, because you have goals and dreams and plans and
Hmm.
things to look forward to, which usually for me, if I'm in a kind of in one of my down modes or a real low place, having something to look forward to usually is something that, okay, I can do this right now because I know I have that. And when that's not there, it does
Hmm.
it does create a little bit more of a spiral. And so it's really hard work. It's like training, it's like weightlifting, to
Hmm.
say, hey, I'm right here today right now, and that's all I can concentrate on. And it's hard, but when you're working out, or when you go, like when you've been, if was there ever something in your head, like, I like that you said that you kind of go in and meditate, because instead of, a lot of people will go inside themselves, which is good, but as you meditate, you can really open your brain space a little bit, and just kind of settle down the spinning, because you just sitting still
Hmm.
a little bit. But do you have like a mantra or like a word you say over and over again, um, when, whether, maybe you used it when you were working out, or, in a game, or doing something that helped keep you in the present moment or keep you motivated to go in a positive direction. Did you ever have anything like that? Do you use it now?
Um, I have a few, sayings and words, grit, most
Mhm.
importantly. You got to have that stick to itiveness.
Mhm.
You got to keep grinding every single day, no matter what you're doing, especially during this rough time. And, um, you know, another word is good. When things don't go your way, you say good, time to get better.
Oh, I love
I didn't,
that.
I didn't get, I didn't get this good grade. Good. I'm gonna work even harder or study a little bit harder. When the other team scores a touchdown late in the game, good. We have this opportunity to go back and score again. Um, that and you don't have to get ready if you stay ready. That's the little saying that our coach, uh,
Mhm.
strength coach, Coach Hilgard, always told us. You don't have to get ready if you stay ready. So always do something to prepare. When we get back into normal schedule, it'll be like we never even skipped a beat. We're
Yeah.
right there. Like nothing ever happened. So that's what those two words, grit and good, and then that saying. Um, I wouldn't say usually, but I do always use those every single day.
I love that. I love the whole, stay ready thing, because that can be so, all of that, grit, good, stay ready, all of that can be used in every single part of your life. And now I
Mm-hmm.
have some words that I can use when I'm like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to do this today, or, whatever it may be, if I'm just in a really hard spot in my own head. I read
Mm-hmm.
something recently that I think was really, I don't know why it stuck to me, but I was reading a book, and they actually know it was a podcast. And the woman on the podcast said, I try to look at when I'm in a low place, I try to look at my headspace as a dark alley. And I would never go down a dark alley alone. So if I have to go through that dark alley to get to the other side of where I need to be, I'll always take a friend with me, or I'll always take a trusted adult with me, or I'll take a therapist with me. But I'm not going to go in there alone, because that's not safe. And I think that's really important for a lot of people to hear right now,
Yeah.
because sometimes we think, oh, I don't want to burden people with the fact that I'm low. They might be low too. Well, you know what? You're not burdening people, because you may have just given somebody the permission to say, oh, I'm so glad you said that. I've been really struggling too. What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
How are you getting out of it? It's really important that we talk about it. Don't you agree?
Yes, ma'am. 100%.
Yes. I also would love for you, before we wrap this up, is if you were looking at, well, I have a couple of things. If you were looking at Austin now, and Austin, if he was his senior year in high school, and all the things that are being canceled for seniors in high school and everything, and what advice would you give to younger Austin right now, if he was going through this, with all you've learned and grown and become today?
Well, if I had to tell them or tell all of them, is that this world is scary. The
Mm-hmm.
world is scary. And you can't go through it alone. You're going to need people, to surround yourself with. And, um, you can't hold anything in and keep it to yourself. If you got a problem that's on your mind, you need to go and talk with that person. Um, there's always going to be people out there to help, and you need to go out there and ask for help, because if you don't, then they won't know, and you could struggle. And that's one thing I learned too, is that there there are people out there willing to help you. You just got to go ask for it. You got to build up the courage to ask for it. And um, and I learned that the hard way. You know, I can't believe it's been maybe 4 years in
Wow.
August. You
Wow.
know,
Yeah.
and um, you know, and always be there for someone else too, because you never know. when you could be